We saw that last week where the Conservatives had a very good set of Sunday front pages going into Monday with all of their key policy announcements, and then each of them fell spectacularly apart over the coming days.
It was Stop the Boats Week last week, which ended in pretty much disaster when migrants had to be moved back off the Bibby Stockholm barge because of Legionnaire's disease. This week, the government is focusing on health policy. Changes to cancer targets were announced yesterday and funding for hospitals today. Is it a good idea to have these really focused weeks? Tim Loughton at the weekend told Times Radio that the weeks can be a hostage to fortune, as with Stop the Boats. Perhaps that wasn't the best example. I mean, it's a very, very difficult and complex area, that, but then so is health. Kezia Dugdale, when you were the leader of a political party, did you have much truck with the idea of having weeks?
Yes, I think every political party did. And I tell you, it's the most naive, ridiculous, stupid waste of time in the world. And you'll sit in the room with all your press advisors and your policy strategists and draw this like perfect timetable of the summer and all the different issues that you want to talk about. A bit like, a student designing their perfect study timetable and colouring it in rather than actually doing the work. And of course, you get blown off course instantly. We saw that last week where the Conservatives had a very good set of Sunday front pages going into Monday with all of their key policy announcements, and then each of them fell spectacularly apart over the coming days. So yes, it's a hostage to fortune, because if you indicate the theme of your week to your opponents, their researchers start rubbing their hands and going, oh, great, I've got a file over here on Home Office stats, or I've got some great numbers about the NHS in Newcastle or whatever, and get really stuck in. Of course, it's part of the summer silly season when you don't have the rhythm of Parliament to set the political agenda. Political parties feel like they've got a better chance to do it themselves and then learn very quickly that they just can't do that either.
Tina, does it matter that that by kind of opening yourself up and saying, right, this week we're just doing one topic, other things happen, or the topic you're talking about falls apart and you've left with egg on your face? Does that matter, do you think?
Well, I mean, I think it's perfectly sensible to have a plan if you are a political party and going into a period like recess. The thing which I find odd, and I agree with Kezia on this, is that there seems to be now a fashion for advertising in advance what your plan is and telling everybody about it and giving everybody time to prepare to destroy it. So that's the bit I don't get, really. I mean, I think have an outline plan for sure, but like all plans, you've got to be ready to adapt them and respond to the events that will come along and knock you off course a bit, really.
But also, Tina, I'm sure you know, though, of course, and that the government will float an idea, see how it goes down before they might announce it, and then abandon it quietly if the reception's not great. So in a way, maybe it is a useful exercise.
Well, I mean, again, I think kite flying, as they call it, is part of the kind of political type toolkit, but you don't tell everybody that's what you're doing. You might fly a kite and see how it goes, and if it crashes, then you make sure that you've got plausible deniability as to whether or not you launched that kite.
Have you got any insider knowledge? What's next week?
I've no idea.
No.
It's kite flying week.
Is it? Excellent. Can't wait for that. Thankfully, I'm not here next week.
Can you imagine that? We're doing kite flying week this week, where we're just going to fly some kites and see how it goes. It's very transparent.